Good evening. This is Veterans Talk, Nothing But a Thing. My name is Tony Merritt, and I'm your host for today's program. Brother McGee is in transit and will join us sometime, hopefully, during this broadcast. We want to welcome you to our weekly broadcast, and where we talk about things dealing with veterans and veterans affairs and some of the challenges that veterans are dealing with, and also one of the positive things that are going on in our veteran community. Now, today we have with us a supporting member of our organization, Councilman Winslow.
Yes, hello. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Good, I'm great. I'm great. So, one of the things I want to mention, and veterans may not know this, and this is a benefit to them, Fulton County property tax, and I don't know that veterans know this, but they can get reduced property taxes. It doesn't make any difference what their age is. Now, for most people, the other people who are not veterans, you have to be 65. Mm-hmm. But for veterans, as long as you're a vet, you can go and you can get an exemption. And that's important because I think sometimes vets don't always get the information.
That is true.
That's needed. They don't get the information. And I was just down there the other day, so I was getting information for myself as well. And then they reminded me about the veterans. And so that's very, very important. And I had a veteran. I was at the Vietnam Veterans chapter 1118 a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So one of the veterans was asking about housing. How can I get a home? Mm-hmm. And so I was talking to them about the fact that Invest Atlanta, with the city of Atlanta, has a down payment assistance program. Mm-hmm. So if a person qualifies, and probably most vets would qualify, they can take a class and get certified for a 6-month period. The class is like just today, it's on a Saturday. And then they're eligible to get up to $40,000 in down payment assistance. So there are different pots of money that they can get. So there's a pot of money under Atlanta Housing. There's another pot of money through Invest Atlanta, and there are other little smaller pots of money. So there's still an opportunity, even though prices are high, people can maybe, kind of get a house that maybe needs a little love, and get, and get in there and get that some of that $40,000 in down payment assistance, and then kind of fix up the house. Or one of the other thing I talked to them about, and people forget this, Habitat for Humanity.
Yes.
Okay? Now, I don't know what the qualifications are for vets, but I know that I'm not sure about single vets, but if you're a vet and you have a family, you would qualify. Okay? So they're just now kind of starting to get back into rebuilding houses. So the district that I served in, I was, when I first got in office in '94, I was trying to get some movement going, trying to get more houses, because I had a lot of vacant lots. And I couldn't attract any developers at all. I talked to a lot of people, and they just didn't seem to be interested in the inner city, because that's taking a risk. At the time, it was taking a risk. And so I went to Habitat, and they said, we'd be interested. So then I went to various neighborhoods that had the same type of external facade, okay, that Habitat does, okay? Right. They kind of have a historic build to them, okay? So I went to the Pittsburgh community, Adair Park, and Oakland City. So all three neighborhoods agreed. Pittsburgh said, well, we'll do so many.
Right.
And then Adair Park said, we'll do so many. And lo and behold, when they started building, then that attracted developers. They said, what's going on over here? So the developers
Came
came.
in.
The developers came in, and so that's another opportunity where it's sweat equity. You don't
Okay.
have to pay, but you don't have to pay dollars,
Yeah, right.
but you pay through you work. First of all, you work on somebody else's house. So you have to go through some changes,
Right.
and you have to. They're going to challenge you, so you work on somebody else's house. Then you also work on your house,
Right.
and we had the wonderful opportunity of Clark Howard, the
Right.
TV
Oh, yes.
and radio
Yeah,
personality.
Of course.
He built several of his Clark Howard houses,
Okay.
specialty houses in Pittsburgh and in Oakland City.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there are those opportunities that are there, and I'd be happy to give people, more information. In fact, I'll give my phone number out now, and then I'll give it out a little later. So my cell number is 404-216-1701.
That's an excellent program. I've volunteered with Housing for Humanity, Habitat, and I was just impressed. When I first started, I was not aware that program existed, and then once I saw what it was doing, I said, "This is an excellent program for anyone, not just for veterans, but for anyone." And actually found out someone that I became acquainted with afterward had gone through the program and was very excited about what they were able to obtain just by going through the program. And the amount of assistance they got in every area is not just for the house, but also money management. They have all of those type programs and courses for new homeowners, because when you're a new homeowner, you're not aware of all of the other things associated with buying a house.
Right.
You go, oh man, this is a nice, beautiful home, but there's more involved in it. you know?
There's the upkeep of the property.
Right.
You can't call the landlord.
Right.
There's no land. You the landlord.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So if a pipe bursts, you have to call the plumber.
Yeah.
If something is wrong with your refrigerator, you got to call an appliance person. Okay. You got to cut your grass.
Right.
And what I found is that people that move into Habitat homes, they become very prideful.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and they keep their houses up. So in Oakland City, there's some houses on Spark Street that look just as nice as they did 20 years ago, because they were built in 1997. Those were some of the first ones that were built then. And Warwick Dunn, who used to play
Right. Yes, with the Falcons.
for the Falcons, he helped to furnish several homes in Oakland City.
Yeah,
So I have to give a shout out to Warwick Dunn, because he's always under the radar.
Always,
And he's
always.
just doing things very quietly. But he has helped out many a family with wonderful furniture. It wasn't cheap furniture, it was
Right, yeah.
expensive. I think it was Ethan Allen. Ethan
Okay.
Allen's expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is quality furniture.
It's quality furniture. And so he will provide furnishings for the whole entire home.
Really.
Entire home,
Yeah.
yes.
That is an excellent program, and we're glad to see athletes, tongue got twisted, doing those types of things in the community, because a lot of them, they're just temporary.
Right,
They're players
right.
for a particular team.
Exactly.
But he
exactly.
made Atlanta his home.
He did. He loves
ma-
Atlanta.
yeah,
He loves
yeah,
Atlanta.
Yeah. And of course now, based on what he's doing, Atlanta loves him. Yeah. So it's a give and take type situation.
Right.
Yes. Well, we have a guest here today. I feel better now.
Okay.
But back to housing and everything. We're finding those Habitat houses in all communities.
Yes.
In all of the communities and everything. And the interesting thing about the early people that bought into them, with, as we say, gentrification that is occurring in some of those neighborhoods, the value of those homes probably well exceeded what they were
Yes.
initially valued at.
Exactly.
You know, so
Exactly.
there is a positive reason for getting into those types of programs because you're going to benefit from.
Right.
It's one of the benefits of being a homeowner.
Right. The value has shot up.
Yes.
Has definitely shot
Yeah.
up.
And that's generally what the situation when you purchase a home. Unless something major happens in the neighborhood, the value of your property is going to go up.
It is. It is.
You know, that's an excellent program about tax benefits for those people that are moving into those homes. Because most of us, as we become seniors, you know, you get that major tax breaks once you're able to, I think the term was opt out of a major portion of your school tax, which covers a lot of which is the major portion of the taxes that you pay. And once you reach a certain age, and I am of that age, I had that option. And it reduced my actual taxes significantly.
Is that in the city of Atlanta?
Yeah, that's in Fulton County. That's in Fulton County.
In Fulton County,
Yeah,
okay.
because I found out it through my sister, who is older than me, and she told me about the program. And so I went to the Fulton County office and asked, I would like to pay less school taxes. And she said, well, what's your age? And I told her, and she said, you will qualify.
Oh,
and
really?
then they reevaluated it
Okay.
and for Fulton County. And then she said, here's the paperwork, because my home is actually in East Point. She said, you take this paperwork to East Point, and they will also give you a lower rate on your school taxes.
Okay,
And so
okay.
it works out in both ways.
It works out.
Yes.
I'm not sure that APS does that. There was
Right.
there was a bill maybe 4 or 5 years ago where a group of people were trying to get that for the city of Atlanta.
Okay.
And it went through for some other cities, but it didn't go through for the city of Atlanta. I'm glad that it went through for East Point
Yes, it
and
did.
the other cities, but I'm not sure it went through for us. But I think people need to check that out anyway.
Yeah.
They need to go down to Fulton County property tax,
Right.
and they have some information that you can look up. And if people can't look it up, just ask. If people don't have a computer, everybody doesn't have a computer.
Right.
Okay, they just don't, because they'll give you a piece of paper and tell you to go to the site and everything. They can print it out. They can print it out for people. Yeah, that's the least they can do for an older person. Yeah.
And those of us who are veterans of the Vietnam era,
They need to-
we're now the older persons that you're talking
That's
about.
right. That's
you
right.
know.
So they need to go down
And so,
there.
you know, you need to go in because we're looking for any benefits we can as being veterans and also being the city citizens of Fulton County
Right.
and other surrounding communities.
Right.
Now, I'm not sure if other counties are doing this, but I know Fulton County. So any veteran living in Fulton County should check with their local Fulton County office and the city within their looking, so you can save money.
Exactly, because there are 9 tax exemptions. So that's a lot.
Yes.
So while I was in office, we did several tax exemptions. So we did one where if you made $39,000 or less, then you get a reduction. We pushed for one for $60,000 about 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah.
but it didn't pass under the dome.
Right.
So even though we passed it on city council,
Yeah.
it didn't. They thought it was too much. You know, they thought 60,000 was too much.
Not realizing what the economy was going to do
Right.
in a few years, where that amount was a lot less
Right.
than what the value of homes these days.
But I went to a workshop, so I would not tell people to not go down there just because you may make over 39,000, because they use a certain formula.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? And so even if you still may qualify with the formula that they use, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm just telling people, if you're 65, just go down there for yourself and see what it's about, and then you'll know if you can get a rollback on your taxes.
Right. The interesting thing for me was the fact that if you don't ask for it, you don't get it.
You don't
and
get
it seems
right.
like it's something that would be automatic for seniors because they know most of us are on fixed incomes and everything. So any additional funds that we can keep in our pockets,
Right.
it's better for us and of course better for the community because most of us are going to spend it.
But if you don't ask, you don't get.
You don't ask, you don't get.
You don't get.
Yeah.
And so for people who are under, 65, there's what is that? Urban homestead exemption that you can get that, and you just have to fill that out one time. I did that when I
Right.
bought my house, and so you get a break there.
Yeah.
So there are all kind of breaks, even if you're not 65.
Right.
Yeah. There are opportunities there, and but and the only way we found out about it is by word of mouth.
Yeah.
And that's how most people find out about
And
it.
that's how I found out through my sister who informed me and everything. And so we need a better way of getting that type of information out.
Now, that's true.
Particularly to veterans.
Yes,
Especially now that veterans are having real challenges with housing, with
Yeah.
the housing situation.
Right.
So those that are able to or that are in homes, can get those additional benefits.
Right. They
Yeah.
probably don't know about the
Yeah,
program.
yeah.
I doubt that they know about it.
Yeah.
And people can also, and they know this, but I'm just stressing it, can also file an appeal if they think their taxes are too high. Now, this was the first year I filed an appeal.
Yeah.
Oh, and I should have done it 3 years ago, but I wasn't paying attention to the assessment. Okay, then all of a sudden I looked at it and I said, this assessment. So what people need to do is when that assessment comes in, which is before your property taxes come
Exactly.
in, okay, we're not always paying attention to that because it's not the bill. It says on the top, this is not a tax bill.
Yeah.
Okay, so we say, oh, let me just put that to the side.
Yeah.
No. You save that. That is important because it's going to tell you how much more your property value is assessed at from year to year. So mine tripled from 2017 to 2021, but I wasn't paying attention. But it just so happened I had kept 2017 just by happenstance, and I looked at it. It was good then. Now my taxes are $1,000 more. Okay, $1,000 more. So
I have a question.
Okay.
yes,
You guys,
Yes.
talking about housing now, we know previous mayor and the current mayor have both stood up and said they had millions of dollars, millions, for homeless veterans. I am offended to go downtown to see my brothers and sisters on the bridge. What is happening to the issue of housing for homeless people? I mean, everything we do, we have politics come before it. And for the last few years, we watched the homeless population in Atlanta grow, not decrease. And I've been one that believe that we should be trying to bring those benefits back to the community. But in the community, when we need help from our government, and we see the government stand up and say, okay, I got $10 million to buy some apartments to deal with the homeless. And the homeless population still grow. I see it's bigger up under the bridge now than it was last year.
yeah. So let me talk about it in two separate ways. So the city of Atlanta, according to our charter, we're not technically responsible for providing direct service to homeless. Now, the way we help homeless and the veterans and other populations that are in need is that they can apply through the Community Development Block Grant Program. So we get money from the federal government, and a lot of groups do that. So that is an avenue for a veterans group to apply, okay? And they could possibly get some money because there's within each section of the monies that come down from Washington, D.C., we have to fill that void. So one of them is housing. Another one is economic development. Another one is something else, okay, something for HIV. So that has to be done. The second thing that the city did, as you know, under former Mayor Shirley Franklin's administration, is they built Gateway. Now, the city couldn't run it because we would have been in violation of our charter. So we got the Atlanta United Way. We got the United Way to run it, okay? So we have never run that facility. Now, under the charter for Fulton County, because I worked for Fulton County for 10 years, okay, with the Board of Commissioners, they are the ones that are responsible for providing human services. So one of the things that they did do, and I was happy to see that, they went back and reopened Jefferson Street, the old jail.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I've been out there. The facility is very nice because at one time it was closed. Mm-hmm. Now, the issue is bigger than the city of Atlanta and Fulton County. So let me take you back a little ways. Georgia Regional Hospital on Briarcliff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there was some kind of suit that somebody put in, and it said that you can't keep a person locked up forever. Okay, and whoever filed that suit, and it was probably somebody who had been at the facility or some facility, maybe most of his or her life. So they slowly started letting people out, okay, at Georgia Regional. Okay, slowly started letting them out. So that started the problem back in the mid-'80s, okay? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then, just recently in the last six or 7 years, the hospital in Milledgeville, it's completely closed. Completely. And so we were having a state convention, and this was I went every year, but this was back in maybe 2011, 2012. This subject came up, and everybody was deeply concerned. They said, where are the people going to go?
Right.
And so they were systematically closing it down. I guess all I can say, maybe to save money. So that's the state. Then the state has something called, it's instead of calling it mental health, it's some kind of behavioral department, behavioral science department. But that does not really solve the problem. Now, initially the state did a pretty good job when Georgia Regional closed, because what they did is they took money and they said, okay, we'll get group homes. Mm-hmm. So in my neighborhood, we accepted 2 group homes. So one's around the corner from where I live. You wouldn't even know the people were there. It's a nice group home. It's Victorian built house, style house. And they have a caretaker that's there. And so they're not harmful or anything. Right. They just need 24-hour supervision. Mm-hmm. You know, they get on the bus and they go downtown or go wherever they need to go. And then there's another facility that's maybe about 6 or 7 blocks from there. Mm-hmm. So they started out doing a good thing, okay, but it's just kind of petered out. So the state needs to provide monies.
See, I'm still stuck on hearing the mayor.
But I can't speak for the mayors. I can.
I'm trying to put this in perspective because we're going to the poll with this. We're tired of hearing politicians talk. And
I got you.
I just came from Macon statewide meeting, and I'm the only black president there. Mm-hmm. All these veterans are in harmony. We're tired of the government not functioning the way we function when we.
I can understand that. I can understand
we keep
that.
All of these different narratives about the homeless situation, about the reentry situation, about the transition situation. And we know they get money. We know they get money.
Can you focus so the audience can hear you, or like the viewers can hear you on the mic?
Oh,
We won't be able to hear.
I need to come over there.
Or you want to come behind the desk?
Yes, please.
I'll get on that side.
Okay.
If other people can hear you,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I came back to try to be a part of this because I knew our community hero is going to be
Yeah,
working
that's it.
and give us when I go this
You
way.
can go. Okay.
I'm trying to keep it going across there.
Okay.
I'm just grateful that we are doing the program. Last week, I was coming out of my driveway and I had an accident, so we didn't get a chance to do the broadcast last week.
Oh, okay.
I knew
Okay.
today we was gonna do it, and then I realized that I had a mandatory meeting in Macon with all of the chapters of Vietnam Veterans of America, and I had to make my quarterly report about what we are doing here in Atlanta. And we were happy to announce about the approval of National Park Service, Sons of Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
So we got that approval.
All right.
And so now we are moving to the next phase, getting ready to do a groundbreaking and all that kind of stuff. But housing is paramount on the veterans list, because I had a guy call me yesterday, matter of fact, and I told him I was going to call you.
Okay.
Because he's looking for a rooming house. Now, this is a veteran that works for the city of Atlanta.
Okay.
All veterans have housing issues every day in some kind of way. And what we want to do is get valid information of how they can negotiate the housing issues with pride.
Yeah.
Because, one of the things that I try to tell the guys, don't be too proud to talk about your situation. But veterans are a very proud element of our communities, and when they're in trouble, sometimes they get in deep trouble before they speak out.
Right.
Before they get. So what we're glad to have you here today, because of the memorial and because of what you and I had a conversation.
Exactly.
About a month ago, I guess. We have a conversation all the time, but the conversation you had was to tell us to look at the Sons of Atlanta project the way we got it now, and put some color in it. And put some spice in it. And today I think I did that by going to Macon, telling them, hey, listen, we got approval now. They got a memorial coming up in Macon, so
yeah.
So
we don't want to leave Atlanta out.
We don't want to leave Atlanta out.
That's
so,
right.
It's just a good thing that we got this show, so we're gonna have Spence on the show. He's ready to go.
Oh, okay.
We're going to zoom him in. But this is a platform for us to have you teach us a lot about city government, because you have been doing that since
I was a little girl. Not a big girl, a little girl.
But, the truth of the matter is if we don't have somebody that have experience in the government, we won't know how to focus our fight. Because right now, we veterans are organizing in Fulton County and the state of Georgia to collectively use their vote power to change the way government is responding to us collectively.
So let me, and that's good. I think everybody should advocate. Groups should advocate for themselves. We have people that come down to city council all the time and speak to us. So, and I just remembered that the city, there's a special program that we've been funding probably for, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years. It's called West Care, and that's for veterans. So I don't know if you remember Michael Langford, Arthur Langford's brother. Okay,
yes.
Now he just passed away last November.
Right.
But that's his program. So it's in the Mechanicsville community. I've been over there, and it's for men and women. So it's an apartment building, and they live there, and I've taken, food over to them and talked to them and that kind of thing. So they're there. So I'm not. I think they kind of transition out, so they're kind of in and out. But that is strictly for veterans.
Okay. Because and the other part about veterans now, we have a benefit for housing. Mm-hmm. Every veteran that finishes a good tour of military service has a benefit that says he or she can get a house with no money down. Mm-hmm. With no money down. The problem with that we got such bad credit in our community is that this benefit is actually denied.
Okay.
Us because of the credit thing.
Yeah.
We know that credit is determined by the lenders, more than anything else. But what we want is to have a working relationship with our government on every level. Mm-hmm. We've been working with Fulton County. We got a lot of good results from Fulton County. Then we got into the administration of the program and was high-shanked.
Yeah, hijacked.
Hijacked. Yeah. Because we're not vetting the politicians that we elect. And they appoint people to positions that have the same mindset, birds of a feather flock together. Mm-hmm. We have allowed Margaret Taylor Greene type thinkers to infiltrate our government, especially state. Because they have seen the power of state government over the citizenry.
Right.
That's why they was able to go in there and come up with a law that frustrate voters. Especially seniors. Mm-hmm. I've talked to several people that didn't get their absentee ballot. It was denied the absentee ballot. Mm-hmm. So now what we doing? We're gonna go get them, take them to the poll. They're going to the poll.
Right. That's what you have to do. Take them to the poll.
Take them to the poll. But what we need is what we got in you. Somebody that that's been in government, that's helping veterans see how to focus their advocacy.
Right.
We need to be able to focus that because in a lot of cases we have the capacity to affect changes in these areas ourselves. Because we know we've been there. And Tisha's in the audience, and I got to speak to this because I thought she was going to be on stage today because I wanted to come in here and talk about the product that she has that is like a little miracle package for people with mental illnesses.
Okay.
All natural stuff. Mm-hmm. All natural. Now, I took it, and I stopped my other medication just to test it. I'm going to tell you, I stopped everything else just to test you. Because I want to know, was this package relevant to me? Mm-hmm. Would it actually, it gave me everything I needed. Mm-hmm. In terms of being able to process my issues and still function.
Okay.
You talk about people coming out of Georgia Regional. Everybody in my chapter except Tony, is 100%. All of them with mental diagnosis, including myself, post-traumatic stress disorder. We need to know how to govern that illness. Our families need to know how to govern that and help govern that illness, because in a lot of cases, these are the 22 veterans a day that's committed suicide. But their families are not equipped.
Right.
And we got some stuff to equip them with.
Right.
And I was hoping she was going to get some money from Fulton County and that RFP, because I want to see them packages passed out in the community. To some of these guys that's homeless now and they can't focus because they're not getting treatment, to get them stable enough to get them in housing. Because all week we've been fighting with one case that we had to get this brother, and found out he had a bad discharge. So that kind of put a slowdown on us getting them benefits.
You can't fight that. You can't fight that. That's in the record.
You can fight it, but it's very difficult.
Right.
It's very difficult. Now they have in the VA, they have what you call a character of discharge override.
Okay.
Now that can occur when a veteran has a mental disability that was brought on by military service. They got a bad discharge. They'll override that bad discharge and give them benefits. But they have to have medical care. And you know, those guys on the bridge not getting no medical care.
Yeah.
So let me mention this, and this is very, very important. When Maynard Jackson first got in office
That's my
in,
hero.
in 1974,
Our hero.
right, right, there was $20 million of federal money that was coming to Atlanta through the Community Development Block Grant Funds. Now there's only $7 million, so it's been cut by 2/3. So we can't do what we need to do because we're not getting it from the federal government. So when you talk about where to start, we need to start with our elected officials, with our Georgia delegation.
Right.
Okay, with our Georgia delegation.
Speak the truth.
Because the money is not coming
Speak the
down.
truth.
Yeah, it's there, but it's not coming out.
It's up there,
Right.
but it's not down here.
Right.
And we need to make sure that's why we're asking this question, not to politicians, but the day I asked it at Georgia State Council meeting.
Right.
Do veterans' votes matter? If they do, let's laser focus these votes on
Right.
people that's gonna do better government
Right.
for us.
So let me say this. I went to a transportation conference once in Denver, and I didn't know what was going on. All of a sudden, this group of people came. They were in wheelchairs, they were in walkers, and so on and so forth. So they were trying to get a change to add mobility vans, okay, to transportation. They had vans, but they didn't have the lifts,
Right.
and they didn't have other things, okay? So they blocked all the entrances, okay, to the hotel, okay? We couldn't get out, okay? But they were serious
Yeah.
about what they were doing. They weren't violent, but they were sending a message.
They wanted to make a
So
point.
it was a national conference. So as a result of that,
They got some really
we got mobility vans. So if a person is in a wheelchair, they've got the lift now.
Yeah.
But that was because people sacrificed themselves early on. So these are the things you have to do, and you have to do it with veterans of all ethnic backgrounds.
Yes.
With veterans of all colors.
Yes.
You can't do it with one little group.
Right.
All of the veterans have to understand that. Because see, what affects one veteran, I don't care what color he or she is,
Yeah.
it's affecting all of them.
Right.
So everybody needs to step to the plate. Okay? They don't need to act like they don't need help.
Right.
Okay? Because they need help.
and you know
Everybody needs help sometime.
And if we can get people to understand that, not the public now, but I'm talking about veterans.
The veterans, right. You're a powerful
I
group,
was
but you're
in-
not using your power.
I was in Macon today. I am if you look at it, I am the chairman of the VA Benefits Committee. I'm the only black in the meeting. I had white women coming up hugging me. Not sexually or nothing.
Right,
I'm talking
yeah.
about, and thanks for what I do for veterans in the state of Georgia.
Those are,
These
so you
people-
have to get a statewide, that's your statewide coalition right there. You get a statewide coalition.
These folks will. Some of them will be at the ball.
Okay, okay. Next
one,
weekend.
the one thing that they're talking about doing is having two kind of meetings. A Region 4 meeting, which is Alabama, Mississippi, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands.
Okay.
And Zone 4. And then they're talking about having Regions 3, 4, and 7 meet. So we're organized. And
On the
unfortunately,
national level.
on the state level.
Well,
and-
state, but
and
then you're
national.
spreading it out.
We're
Yeah,
spreading it out.
yeah,
But it has to start locally.
Right.
See,
Right.
the fortunate thing is that we are a member of Vietnam Veterans of America, and today this was 7 different chapters all over the state of Georgia that meets. And unfortunately, I'm the only black president in the state. And that's offensive to me, not because I have never had anybody in that meeting show me a rope or call me the N-word. They have always shown me respect and consideration. And they have the same problems that we have.
Right.
They have the same identical problems that we have. And I had to realize that when you was telling me about, going down before city council with just this group of us, they're not looking at the website. They don't see that. Most of these people that we're talking about are of the hue, but they're veterans. So we thinking that everybody understand that. But thank you for pointing that out.
Right.
So next time we go down to the city council, we're capable of having some mix in the milk, because these people of listen, 90% of the people in this meeting today vote Republicans.
Yep.
90%. But they're probably the easiest group to switch over to in the country. Because all of us got upset when we saw a veteran being beat up at the VA. Every veteran that I talked to, they was just irate. How we gonna let them do that? I said, I was just at the VA Thursday, and I'm in the benefits administration. They done remodel this. They had a multi-million-dollar renovation. It's been closed now for over 2 years. And I was in there, and I saw an employee talk to a veteran, so I had to intervene. I just couldn't take it no more. I said, listen, brother, come over here. I'll help you get your benefits. I'll help you, because the VA Benefits Administration is designed where a veteran's supposed to be able to go out there and tell them they want 5 benefits, and they're supposed to facilitate that, right? They told this guy some stuff that made his family was with him, that made his family, they just said, why he got to go through this? He ain't never used the VA before. I said, that's one of the problems. These folks don't care. Let's do something different. So our community got to realize this. First of all, these benefits are a package that was meant to improve the quality of life for veterans,
Right.
their family, and the community. If we don't get these benefits, we're shortchanging
Right.
the veteran,
Right.
his family, and the community. And the only way we're gonna get that is that we learn how to lobby government, how to lobby these people. Now, me and Tony, we done found out, we done had Rob Pitts on the thing, man. But he responded though.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
See, Rob responded. We went out there more than one time.
Right,
now,
right.
But, we just didn't give up, and finally we looked up, and Rob was calling a press conference to give us what we were asking for.
That's the way you do it.
We have to get the community to understand that veterans is one of their best assets. Whether they're disabled or not, they bring a lot to the table. And
Definitely.
the benefits that they bring to the table, they need to get, because it's an economic kind of thing for the community itself. When we talk about housing, if we can just get the VA, and the VA give away millions of dollars every year for the homeless, right?
Right.
Why do we have people homeless? Because the VA don't care. They're just giving that money to, like what we call property pimps. How do we get local government and VA together? You can tell them, listen, we need to put VA, City of Atlanta, where we live, in Fulton County, who can get the money. And we need to get these pimps out of the way.
Well,
You
have had people, you have had organizations that pimped off of the homeless.
Yes, they do.
And the veterans, because the veterans are part of the homeless population, because they were just trying to make money.
Yeah.
Okay, and they were trying to, and what they did is they kept them stationary. So when I say stationary, they didn't really make them a whole person again, and that's what you want.
Right.
You want them to come into a program and then transition them out eventually. Now, I work with homeless vets and with just homeless folks. I've got some out working for me today. Okay? And so, and I pay them. And so the programs that they're in, and this one, this group in that Gateway, but there's a program where, they have to go to church. They get in the program. There's certain things they have to do. They can't work because they're trying to get their head straight,
Right.
trying to get their mind straight.
Yep.
Okay, some of them are in the program for 8 or 9 months.
It should be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And they
exactly.
need
And they need it.
They need it.
And they need it.
And case management is one of the biggest issues. I used to, I'm a VA employee, retired.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
I didn't want to tell everybody.
Okay. They're gonna be calling. He's gonna give his number out so you can get all the secrets and know how to get that money.
I used to do stand down, right?
Okay.
That was my passion when I was working at the VA. And then I started realizing, see the same folks every year at stand down. And then I said, well, the same folks that come and stand, they want to blame the victim, for the crime. And I started looking at, they was not providing any case management. No case management at all. Sometimes those guys left stand down with the little bags and the little stuff that they gave them.
Just giving them stuff and they go on out and then they go back out into homelessness again.
Right.
Yeah,
And
that's
see,
not the way it's supposed
this
to
is why-
operate.
This is why I told the people today. I said, y'all know I'm a pastor, I'm a paralegal, and I'm a president. I said, so I'm gonna invoke the power of God on you first of all.
You're scaring them then. You start scaring them.
I'm gonna first invoke the power of God on y'all and me, so he can keep me straight too. But the idea that we have all these resources in America. 2% of the population controls 90% of the wealth.
Exactly.
And the rest of us are chasing after them. Dr. King gave us a way to straighten them up all overnight. Stop participating. Stop cooperating with them. Sometimes we need to fast.
Right.
Sometimes we need to fast. I mean, we do. We need to have. I guarantee you, we had a 7-day fast. Walmart would start paying their employees a little wage. We need to stop acting helpless.
Look, stop being a victim and become victorious. That's my motto.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
saying.
And
Stop
until
doing
we
that.
learn the value of our veterans, and I'm not talking about veterans, military veterans. I'm
Right.
talking about politicians, people that have served in government, that they might not no longer be in government. How do we organize the community? Help us organize the community with the power of veterans. Veterans are volunteer. I'm a volunteer.
Right.
Tony volunteer. All these guys are volunteers. They don't have a job. All of them are disabled though, but we're not unable.
Disabled but not unable. I like that. I like that.
So
I like
we need to, what we're trying to do now is reach out to these other communities, right? We are in Atlanta. We're proud. I love my hometown. So I'm not apologizing for it when I go to these other communities. I'm just saying that we're better together.
Right.
We can build a better community together if all of us are working together like we had to work together in the military.
Yeah, well, we have, about 4 years ago was a young man that came down to city council. Looked like he was under 30. And he was from Gwinnett County. And he said, I just want to tell you that my county, every day or every week, he didn't know, but he knew what was going on, is putting homeless on the bus from his county and dropping them off
In Atlanta.
in Atlanta.
Yep.
See,
But
this
he didn't like it, so he wanted to let us know they ought to be dealing with our homeless where they are in Gwinnett.
Right.
So we've got all these other entities that act like they don't have a homeless problem, that they don't have homeless vets. Okay?
So they put them on the bus.
They're putting them on the bus, and so they can ignore the problem. No, you can't ignore it anymore.
Well, see, this is
Isn't
why
that going on nationally right now?
Yeah.
With the Hispanics out of Mexico?
Yeah, they're sending them to what they call the blue states.
Right, yes.
See,
Same kind of thing.
Yes, exactly.
This is why we need to focus our vote. We need to focus our vote. We have gotten people in our governments that won't keep their oath, their oath of service. They don't work for all of the people. They work for a base. The base, I thought when I was serving in Vietnam and almost got killed, that I was serving for the whole United States of America. I didn't know I was just serving for the black community. Didn't nobody tell me that. Didn't nobody tell me you serving for the black community. I was serving for all of America. And I don't have any problem with going to other communities, networking with all America in order to deal with these problems. And this is why what we're doing in Fulton County is going to be, I think, a teaching moment. When we got these 9 cities now. These 9 cities ain't never did nothing together.
Right.
But right now we got them in a predicament where they either got to deny their sons who were killed in war, or they got to come together in Piedmont Park. And not just come together in Piedmont Park, but in the community centers and libraries across this county, you know, and work together.
Right.
In their name, in their honor. Because, I mean, talking to the people at White House, my alma mater, you know that's my alma mater.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, I go to Carver too. You know, but what we got to be able to do is go to Grady, you know, over in the white community. So me and Tony finna plot them out.
Yep.
Because we got to do it locally. Now, I talked with Susan today, and she'll be down here to help. You know, she's the white girl that was in Piedmont Park with us.
Right.
You remember her?
Oh, yeah.
So
We was
she's
in a
over
couple years ago.
ABVA.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Right.
I told her, oh yeah, I'm ready. I said, nah, Susan, you ain't got to tell you saving everybody now.
Say, slow down, calm down. Okay.
So, but what you?
But she's a good advocate for you.
Very.
Well, she's a good advocate. So I'm just delighted today that you are here with us, because a lot of people don't know you've been with us.
Yes, I
Since day
have.
You've
one.
been with
I
us.
have.
This ain't something that you just doing for the moment.
Right,
So,
no.
you
I've
know,
been
so
there.
I'm talking about years.
Yes, years.
I'm talking about years. I don't want to tell how old we are, but
We young.
I'm talking about
We still
years,
young.
because see, I'm out of Oakland City. You know, I'm a West Sider. You know,
Okay, okay.
I was raised up in the hood. You know, but I was fortunate enough to be drafted, go into the military, and get some training, but didn't use because I came out traumatized and didn't realize what trauma was. But you know, everything happened for a reason. Because during that traumatization, I met Ruby Hurley.
Oh, okay.
Don't nobody know their history like that. You know, and Earl Shinholster.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
So
Okay,
these
yeah.
were people that reached out to me as a veteran, that gave me the tools to organize in the community of veterans in a way that we start being able to provide them with service in prison.
Oh, okay.
You know, see, people don't look at re-entry of the soldiers. You know, it's a lot of veterans in prison. A lot of them. They're there because of things that they experienced in the military. Okay, we about it? That's
4 minutes.
4 minutes, I'm okay.
You're good. No, finish your story. You got us hanging on edge.
Listen, we got to take this moment. This is the beginning of something, because you got to come back and keep teaching us and helping us teach.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, because we going whole, like they say, we're going whole hog at this thing, because we got to change our community.
Right.
You know, we got to make
Right.
it safe. Veterans don't want war weapons in our community. We got to vote those people out that would allow this to happen. And this is not just talking about Atlanta. We talking about across the nation. I'm hearing white boys talk about this today. This is why they want their AR-15s, but they don't want everybody to have them. You know, I mean, gun control laws.
I understand.
We need to be talking to people about sensible gun control laws.
Yes.
You know, so we're going to the poll, and we're going to start making sense, but we need you to keep helping us. Keep
Okay,
teaching
all
us,
right,
keep
I'll
giving
do
us.
that. I'll do
Because we some of us get kind of wild. They tell me to go sit down sometimes because I get going over the fence, and I call T-shirt to push her in front of me. They try to make sense. But what we're trying to do is to better our community. That's the whole
right.
thing. We started
That's
out
what it's all
to
about.
do that. We started out doing that
Right.
as young people going into the military. Tish went in because she thought she was going to get some benefits. I went in truly thinking I was going to get some benefits. You know, and I did.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, I got educational benefits and
Right.
took advantage of them.
Right.
But, you know, I lost a lot of the benefits because I was dealing with PTSD, which was not recognized when I went in the military. But thanks to Earl Shinholster and Ruby Hurley, I was one of the individuals that went before the Congress. They used my case to help build PTSD in
right.
this country because of community people. I mean, real community servants. You know, and that's we got to keep reaching out to real community servants
Right.
to help us
Right.
navigate this asphalt jungle that we're in, and help our children because every year. When we have graduation, we got young people going into the military out of our community.
That's true.
We need
That's
to make
true.
sure that they don't come home with the same issues that we came home with without the help.
Right.
So
Right.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So
This was very stimulating conversation.
Yes, it is.
And I got 2 men. See? All right. Got one on my left and one on my right. I love it.
And we're loving it
And they're
also.
handsome too.
and you know, Tony, finish it off, brother. We got songs.
Yeah, we got a few information about our upcoming events on October 8th. We're having an honors program for veterans within the city of Atlanta. And so we want everybody to come out to with us to celebrate on that date. And the address is
696.
5087, that Park?
Yeah, 696, isn't it?
Yeah. Park Avenue, and it's the Forest Park Senior Community Center. And come out with us. The program will actually start, we'll start our operation somewhere around 5 o'clock, and with the honors, with meet and greet, followed by an awards program, dinner, and dancing. So come out and join us for this major event, and we want you, as they say, in the place.
Now, let me say this. The VA, we want everybody on this. The VA is having a town hall meeting. Everybody that can get online need to be online. The Atlanta VA is one of the worst in the country. We need to make it better. Over 400,000 veterans go to this VA every year. But it's not treating us right. We need to change the VA. The only way we're going to change it is to engage it. It's having a town hall meeting on the 3rd. And if you need information, I got the information. You can just call us and we'll give it to you.
Last thing, remember to go vote.
Yes.
Tuesday, November 1st.
Yes.
Okay, in probably about 2 or 3 weeks, early voting's going to start, so listen out for that. Most people know where their early voting locations are. It's real important. You still have time to register to vote if you're not registered, or if you have not voted in a long time, you need to go and re-register. And for those people who have been in prison, the state of Georgia passed a law maybe 9 years ago that said if you've finished all of your probation, supervision and all of that, and finish that out, you can now vote, but you got to register. You got to register. So they're making you a whole citizen in terms of voting. So remember, if you finished all of that and your probationary period and everything, you can now go vote. And that's a blessing to be able to get that right back, okay? November 1st, Tuesday. Please go to the polls and vote.
Thank you. See you next week.